All right, so we're going to start on YouTube today. Jenna Kane asks, my last name in my passport is different than my advanced parole last name as I took my husband's last name. Can I travel without an issue? You need to travel with your marriage certificate to show how your last name changed. So travel with your passport, travel with your advanced parole, also travel with your marriage certificate to show the name change. If you were divorced and this is not your first marriage, travel with the divorce as well. Then you won't have a problem. Layla Smith with a question. My child turned 20 last September. When this ban will be over, I'm worried my LPR child case is still at the National Visa Center, all documented, waiting for an interview. You need to contact somebody right now. Even though there is a proclamation preventing immigration in this visa category, there is an exception for children turning 21. They will process those children who are going to age out very shortly. Contact me so I can contact the National Visa Center, or contact the National Visa Center yourself. You should be worried. They're not going to do nothing for you unless you tell them, hey, under the proclamation, there's an exception. You're supposed to process this case because my child's going to age out. Yvonne Craig, what are the simulations on filing for a VAWA case? If I'm the petitioner, I caught him cheating on me. I guess you're asking what is the situation on filing for a VAWA, Violence Against Women's Act. You're not filing for an AEIOU. You're filing for abuse. You catching a man cheating is not abuse. That's a man cheating on you. Now, the cheating could be part of a greater level of extreme and emotional hardship against you. But the act of cheating is not itself abuse, but it could be used as a point of many different points to show extreme emotional abuse, depending on the situation, obviously. Uncle Brad, is it safe to travel for 1 week to my home country on approved advanced parole with my U.S. citizen husband, but had overstayed my visa for 5 years, or wait to my interview to get a green card? No, you can go home for a month. Don't go home for more than a month. You can travel on the advanced parole. It's perfectly fine. What does it mean enter the United States without inspection? That means you didn't come to a port of entry, whether you at a border crossing, showed a document that allowed you to enter and was lawfully entered. That means you entered at a time and place that was not a border crossing. You didn't show anything. For example, somebody who runs across the border from Mexico, somebody who in the trunk of a car that gets driven across. Anybody who doesn't have an inspection at a border entered without inspection. That's exactly what it means. I initially used my husband for the affidavit of support, but didn't put the essential supporting documents, and then I got an RFE, and then I used my uncle. Can I still use my husband when I go for the interview? Well, you definitely need your husband no matter what. So I assume your husband is your sponsor. So even if your husband doesn't earn enough money, he has to give the affidavit of support. Now, your uncle gave a second one, that's great. But whoever your petitioner is has to do it. Mundo Adiri, is advanced parole excluded from the travel ban? Yes, it's excluded. Hi, Brad. Can someone withdraw an I-130 case that's approved by USCIS? It's at the National Visa Center. Is it possible? Please explain. Yes, the petitioner has to write a letter, not the beneficiary. The petitioner has to write a letter and say, please withdraw. It's perfectly fine. You just write a letter, say, here's my case number. I am withdrawing the case. Thank you very much. Akinola Elisinella. Can I apply for graduate studies and accept a scholarship and research assistant role with an R2 visa? An R2 visa, I guess you're a family member or a spouse of a religious worker who is here on a temporary basis. No, you cannot do that. What you can do is change to a student visa and go for your graduate studies. She loved Joseph. If I married a United States citizen and I don't want to change my last name, is that a problem when I file my immigration papers? It is not a problem. It is a modern world. You do not have to take your husband's name. You can keep your maiden name. What's most important is that you live with your husband, you physically live together, and you have a financial relationship. It's not relevant whether you take his name or not. AJ, hey Brad, how long does it take to get an 18-month extension after filing the I-751? Pre-corona, it would come in 2 to 3 weeks. Post-corona, meaning, corona times, 4 to 6 weeks. Sylvester Garvin. My wife and I got interviewed since 2018 in September. Till now, I haven't gotten my green card. What's the hold? Well, I don't have my magic 8-ball, but if my magic 8-ball was here, it would say, I don't know what the hold is. It could be one of many things. One, they didn't believe it was a real marriage, and they're investigating your marriage, and they could call you back for a Stokes interview. That's the most likely scenario. Another scenario is the immigration officer just forgot about you. Put your application in a drawer and forgot to open the drawer for 2.5 years. Who knows? Maybe your fingerprints didn't clear. I don't know what the reason is. But what you can do is you can contact me, and the solution to all of this, assuming you're in a bona fide marriage and everything is on the up and up, is to file a mandamus, threaten to file a mandamus, because when you're married to a United States citizen, you're an immediate relative. Immediate relative means you're immediately eligible for a green card. And obviously filing in 2018, and we're now 2020, and it's 2 years later, that's not immediate green card. That's delay, unnecessary, unreasonable delay, and that's why you would file a mandamus. Let's see what else we have here. Paramjit Chiron. Hello, Brad. I have a DUI in July 2015. They transferred the DUI to a reckless driving in January 2016 on my court hearing. I was under 0.08 limit, and I'm a green card with asylum. Can I travel outside of the U.S.? Sounds like you should be able to. Reckless driving should not be a problem traveling. I would want to see the disposition, but not knowing more, I would say, 999 out of 1,000 times, based on what you told me, you have no problem. Mr. Skyline. Hi, Brad. Good job. Thank you, Mr. Skyline. Does the new public charge rule prohibit green card holders from becoming citizens if they used emergency Medicaid? No, it does not. There is no public charge rule for becoming a U.S. citizen. The public charge rule is for getting a green card, or for green card holders who remained outside of the United States for more than 6 months. They could have public charge issues when they come back.
Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.